Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about those portable power banks, those power bricks that people buy. And I've reviewed a couple others on my channel and I've never really been very satisfied with them. Either they say that they provide like 20,000 milliamp hours and they get nowhere close, or they're just aesthetically displeasing. They have bad color designs and it's not something that you would want to like show off. Well, today I'm going to be looking at the X100 from EDGE Smart Drive. And I think this thing is going to be the king of all power stations. But it does come at a price. So let's go ahead and open it up and see what we have. All right, when you first open the box, here is what you get. You get the power station, which is very slick looking. It's all encased in this hard plastic and it is see-through, so you can see all the electronics that are going on the inside of the unit, which is really neat. And then on the bottom it has all of your input and output information. Also inside is it's like a carrying bag. Yeah, a carrying bag that fits the unit perfectly, and it has this side bag, like this side pocket to probably hold any kind of cords that you need. And then on the very bottom, there is a full color user's manual. Now, what makes the X100 different than all the other power banks that I have owned or reviewed is that this thing is built for speed. You can see that it only has USB-C power delivery ports. The C1 out is actually a 65 watt USB-C power delivery port, and the C2 is a 140 in and out power delivery port. And then on this side, there's actually an XT30 port right here. And that can power up to 315 watts of electricity. And so this thing, it can run through its power very quickly. It can juice up whatever you need. And also, if you didn't notice that on the top of this, you can see right through it, there's a button right here. It turns the unit on, and there is actually a very small display screen on the top that tells you a whole bunch of information. All right, so I'm going to try to show you the options and the screen on this thing and what it can do. I've set up my phone here to be able to show you the screen because this camera really can't get close enough. But let's go ahead and see what we can see. Okay, to turn it on, all you have to do is press this button on the side right here. And it says EDGE Power, and it gives you this display right here. There we go. Probably see it a little bit better. But you can see up at the top, it says LED off, and it says 0 LM for 0 lumens. Because you can adjust this between 0 and 100 lumens of light. On the green, the one right here, this is the C1. That is the 65 watt power delivery port. The C2 is right here in yellow, and it is the 140. It is the 140 watt output and input. The DC up here, it says off currently, and it shows you the voltage and the amperage that's coming out of that DC port. And then this one right here is your display. And this one right here is your display. It shows you your percentage state of charge and the number of watt hours left in the battery, and the temperature in Celsius, which is 22 degrees Celsius, and it shows it to be 19.8 volts currently. Now, if you press the side button, you will scroll between all of these options. So right now, let's go ahead and highlight the LED. We're gonna go ahead and double click on it, and it brings you up to this menu right here, and it says that right now the mode is on. And there's like 5 different modes, I think. If you select once, if you single click, it puts a little arrow right there. And then you can long press this button on the side and it will change the mode. So you can do twinkle mode, which is just, it kind of flashes the LED off and on. You can do hazard mode, so it kind of flashes the blink to alert other people. It does breathe mode, which is like the light dims and brightens like it's breathing. And then there is Morse mode. That is the Morse code mode, and that is your SOS light. And then it goes back to on. So we're just going to double click again to get out of that. And we're going to go ahead and turn the LED on. And all you have to do is long press it, and you can see the LM number go up, and it's going to go all the way up to 100. And then when I release it, the LED lights up, and it's 100 lumens, so it's pretty bright. And then you just need to long press it to turn it back off. If you only wanted it for like 20 lumens, you just hold it until it gets to around 20, and then you let it go, and it's not as bright. And then you long press it and it turns it off. If you select the DC, if you long press that, it will turn it on, and that will show that the DC port, which is this XT30 right here, it turns it on and it shows the voltage at right around 20 volts and 0 amps, since we don't have anything plugged into it. If you double click it, it brings it up to a menu, but it just says to be continued. So we'll go back. We'll go ahead and double click on the C1 because it is almost always on. A long press doesn't do anything. But if you double click, it brings up this screen right here, and it shows you the number of watt hours that have gone in. It shows you the voltage, the amperage, and the current, and the watts that are coming out of the unit currently. And it also has a graph right here that will show you more information. And if you go to C2, if you double click this, this also brings you up with the same information that the other power delivery port gave you, but it's just in a different color scheme. We'll double click to get out. And if you long press the C2, it actually switches it so it's only an output. It will not try to do an input at all. It kind of locks it as an output. So we'll go ahead and long press that again just to set it back. There we go. And then lastly, if you go to this battery management screen, if you double click on that, it gives you all of the individual cell information, like all the individual cell voltages. It will also tell you how long it will take for this thing to become full, how long it will take to become empty, the charging amperage rate. I believe this is also the health of the battery and the temperature of the battery right now, which is 24 degrees Celsius. All right, when this thing was straight out of the box, it said that it had a 12% battery life left. So I'm gonna go ahead and charge it up, and I'm gonna try to charge it up as fast as I can, because it says you can charge this thing up in an hour. So what I have here is the Opus Exodus 1500, and it does have 140 watt power delivery outputs. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in to the C2, which is the input, and we're going to see if it can actually charge at 140 watts. And here we go. Let's see how high it gets. All right, the output is saying 122, and the X100 does say, it says 122 watts also. It's actually climbing up. It's now 124. And this cable is rated for 240 watts, so it should be able to handle the amount that it's the max amount. Yeah, we're up to 126 watts coming in, and this screen right here actually shows 26.7 volts at 4.7 amps, which is 126.5 watts. All right, well, the power bank says that it's at 19%. I'll probably come back in about a half hour, hopefully where it's around 50 or 60%, to see if it's actually inputting a higher wattage, because right now we're getting right around 128 to 129 watts. All right, so I've been sitting here for about 15 or 20 minutes, and this thing is already at 48% state of charge. And it is running at 139 watts. That's the input of this small little power bank. So when it says it can charge at 140 watts, it's not kidding at all. This thing is just sucking up the juice. If you hold it, you can feel that it's a little warm, but by no means is this thing hot at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill this all the way up to 100%, and then I'm going to do a capacity test because it says that it has 97 watt hours. So what that really means, it is a 19,200 milliamp hour battery pack that runs at 5 volts. So if you multiply those together, you get 97 watt hours. Now, in all honesty, this is a 30,000 milliamp pack, but they recognize that there's going to be efficiency issues when it comes to the conversions from the 3.7 volt batteries or the 3.7 volt cells inside to convert it up to the voltage that it needs to be able to run at something like this, which is 5 volts or 12 volts or 20 volts or whatever that device needs. All right, so the capacity test is done for this X100, so let's go ahead and check out what we got. And you can see right there that we got 103.35 watt hours out of this battery bank. And this battery bank, it's only rated for 97 watt hours. So we actually went over capacity on a battery bank, which I have never seen before. So that is very impressive. So the next thing I want to do is I want to see if I can charge this thing and discharge it at the same time. Now, I know that this is kind of a specialty product. Like, it's really designed for people that use items that need XT30 connections, like bigger drones or RC cars, items like that. But I want to see if you could maybe have a power station or even have it plugged into your car and have it continuously charging, and then when you need to plug in that XT30 device, the battery bank will be as charged up as it possibly could be. So that's why I want to do this test. So let's go ahead and see if it can charge and discharge at the same time. All right, I believe I have everything all set up. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start charging it using this Opus 1500. It'll start giving it as max of a charge as it can get, 140 watts. All right, it just clicked on and it's starting to input. All right, the fan on the Opus just turned on, and now we have an input of 130 watts right now. And it shows 133 coming from the Opus. All right, the next thing we want to do is turn on the DC. Go over to the DC section and long press. There we go, the DC is on. And the voltage on our meter shows 23 volts. Let's go ahead and turn this on. And I'm just going to crank it up. Oh, this thing is freaking out because I put too much wattage into it. It can only handle 185 watts. So we'll do like 170 watts. All right, look at that. We've got actually 174.25 watts, 175 watts. And it is still inputting 130 watts. You'll see that we have 173 watts right there. You probably won't be able to see this. I'd be surprised if you can. But it shows that there's actually 41 watts being taken out of the system. So 41 watts being taken out of this because that's taking 173 and we're inputting 141 right now. So this thing is working exactly the way that it should, which is perfect for a small battery bank like this. Okay, so what are my thoughts on the X100 Super Power Bank from EDGE Smart Drive? Well, you know what? If you want a battery bank and you're willing to spend some serious money for it, I would totally get one of these. Now, if you're going to use it for only charging like your iPhone or an Android or something like that, then this is going to be overkill because this thing can discharge and charge at 140 watts through one of its power delivery ports right here. And the other one is rated at 65 watts. And the other part is that it actually has a dedicated XT30 port right here, which can max out at 315 watts. And I think that's where all the money's going. But this thing is solid It's really slick looking. I mean, this is something I would be happy to have sitting on my desk because I know it would draw up some attention from people wondering what in the world this thing is. Also, this thing is not beating around the bush when it comes to its capacity. It says that it is a 19,200 milliamp hour battery bank. And what that equates to is 97 watt hours. Because if you multiply 19.2 times 5, which is the voltage, you get 97. But when I tested the capacity, it was actually 103. So this went over capacity, and I've never seen that from a battery bank. Now for the price. This thing is going for over $150 on Amazon right now. And it's April of 2025. But if you're willing to spend that money to get a small battery bank like this, I would go with the X100. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the X100, please go ahead and leave them in the comments. I have a link to this item in my description, just in case you want to look further into it. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye-bye.